welcome back to the Marathon Mortgage Happy Hour. Now, I'm Mike Witzak and
Rory Farrell, as usual, every week.
Yeah, every week it's the same two people. If you notice something a little different here,
Stepping it up.
it's because we're stepping it up. I don't know why I couldn't say that. We took a lot of time to make this wonderful background, so we're hoping you would appreciate it.
It is so heavy.
It actually probably weighs like 50, 60 pounds.
If this thing falls on us,
You'll never see this video because we'll be dead and nobody could upload
Yeah.
it. So, with that being said, we hope you like the new background. You know, this is our background. We're going to start having realtors and other people on. So we needed more space. And as you can see my hands and stuff down here now. So it all works out. It's pretty cool. And you can see the beer. So do we want to dive in?
one of the most key elements of this whole podcast.
I think it is the key, the Marathon Mortgage Happy Hour. It's in the name. So what do we have today, Rory?
Today we're going to be having Levante Brewing Company out of Westchester. They're Cloudy and Cumbersome. It's one of the first beers that they ever made. It's one of their flagships, one that's available all the time. You can get it in almost any beer distributor or bottle shop around our area. And the price point's great. I think it's like $15 or $16 in most places for a 4-pack, which is for the quality and just everything about it. I could drink that beer for the rest of my life.
For a 4-pack of beer, I feel like that's a reasonable price.
Yeah, for a local craft beer, for sure. So I really like this one. It's considered, they call it an IPA. It's a New England IPA. Go ahead. Only 5.9% though, so really sessionable and drinkable for an IPA. New England style,
Nice
which
whiff.
basically gives us, some more... The hoppiness is definitely fruity. It's going to be a lot in the aroma, a lot on the back end, as opposed to it just being like super bitter, like a West Coast that would be.
As soon as I cracked it open,
You can smell it. This beer uses Mosaic hops. It's my favorite hop out there. It's like really basic. You can get it almost anywhere, but it's just one of my favorite hops. It smells so good, right?
The more you know.
The more you know. Cloudy and Cumbersome. Shout out Levante.
So you have a favorite hop?
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And having favorite hops comes from my brewing background because there's definitely some great hops out there, but they could be more rare. It's more expensive stuff to find. So Mosaic, you can generally find almost at any homebrew mart.
What's like the mahogany of...
Oh, there's like all these experimental ones, like those cryo hops we talked about a couple weeks ago. Like there's definitely ones that you can't even get as a home brewer.
Whoa.
But we're lucky in this country, the Northwestern Pacific Northwest there's a ton of hops that come from that area that are world renowned. So we generally have access to those. Australia, New Zealand, they generally have really good hops.
Interesting.
So,
Wow.
it's like wine. It's like all about the climate and where you can grow them. And so it's good. I love it. I could drink this beer.
It's a very good beer.
If I had to pick one beer for the rest of my life, this might be on that list.
Would buy a 4-pack.
All right.
Would.
All right, cool. So let's get into industry stuff. One of the things that has kind of come up more recently and is changing more recently, and we're running into a lot more recently, is the appraisal waiver aspect of the underwriting findings. So during that refi boom we had a couple years ago, we were doing a ton of appraisal waivers where literally Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac would just say, hey, we trust the value you're putting in there. You don't even need to do an appraisal. You don't need any type of report. We just trust the value. It's we think it's a fair value, and we're not going to have you corroborate it with an appraiser. It's more in a refi market. You see a lot of those. Purchase market's not as common, but you still see them every once in a while.
Yep.
What we're finding out is that Fannie Mae is now issuing less and less of those. And what they're doing is doing more and more of these property data reports or property data collections. So we just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about the different tiers of appraisals and appraisal waivers and, what you're going to see more often in this market. So,
yeah, I mean, and just, I guess one thing to point out too, if there's any loan officers that watch our podcast or if there's any people who are going through this exact situation right now, appraisal waivers come back to us in a way that it literally is like a check mark on your findings and it says appraisal waiver. Now we're getting that same exact check mark, but it's not saying appraisal waiver anymore, right? Or is it saying appraisal?
It's saying value acceptance.
Value accepted, which if you're not paying attention,
you're not reading the fine print.
Yeah, if you're not reading the fine print and you just look at it, it looks like an appraisal waiver. You're like, oh yeah, I got the check mark. That's all I need to look at. But when you read the fine print, they changed it. And I mean,
what we're hearing from realtors is that these loan officers aren't even realizing. They're just seeing the green check and they're like, oh, great, appraisal waiver.
Yeah,
and then they get 2, 3, 4 days before settlement and the underwriter's like, where's that appraisal?
Yeah.
And next thing you know, you're
They're
not getting
like,
an appraisal
what
done in
appraisal?
3 days and having it clear underwriting. So it pushes settlement. So it's really important as a loan officer to read through the entirety of the findings and figure out exactly what your options are as far as, everything as far as underwriting, but specifically the appraisal and appraisal waivers. So
Yeah, gotta be really careful.
at the top tier of appraisal waivers is obviously the full appraisal waiver. Like, nobody needs to go out. We trust we trust that you're inputting a fair value. And you can kind of move through without any type of documentation as far as value is concerned.
Yeah, and basically the way that works is Fannie or Freddie has like a database of homes that were sold in that area that got appraised, and they say, all right, well, based off of what you're telling us this home you're purchasing it for, or you think the appraised value is, we consider that to be a decent appraised value for that home. So they accept that, and nothing else needs to be looked into, really.
Yeah, we were getting a lot of those during the refi season where these values were going up and up and up and up, and we were able to really get rid of people's MI. We were able to lower the rate not only because the rates were better, but also because they had more value or more equity in the property. So it was huge for us during the refi boom.
Yeah,
the past couple of years, or over a year ago, but prior to that. The next step, beyond not having a full just appraisal waiver is a desktop appraisal. So basically, an appraiser will go out to the property and basically do a drive-by. They don't go into the property, but they do pull from like public record and other data sources and basically say, hey, based on all this data that we have, without going into the property, we feel that the value that you guys have provided is accurate and true. That goes to Fannie Mae, and then hopefully they accept that based on this desktop report.
Yeah, right there.
One moment, please.
Okay, yes.
And then the thing that Fannie Mae is ramping up and we're seeing more of now is this property data report or property data collection. They literally said, hey, you're not going to get as many appraisal waivers, but we are going to start issuing more of these property data reports. So basically,
which we really haven't ran into before.
No, that's what I'm saying. You're seeing more and more of them now. So basically, it's not even an appraiser that goes in. It's just someone who is licensed to do this type of data collection. I specifically just had a realtor doing it. I assume it's side hustle during a tough market, and they go in. They use an app to create a floor plan. Take a bunch of photos as an appraiser would. Answer like 180 questions about the property, and they create this report. It's like a 30-page report, and then you read all the way at the bottom, and at the bottom it says we accept this value, or this data on this report supports the value, and then of course that also has to go to Fannie Mae. So and then mine, I just got one done. They did the whole report, and it was like cool, value accepted, and they moved on. So
and that's really interesting. I don't know if you picked up the piece that he said, but it's not appraisers that need to go out there and do it. It could be like real estate agents. It could be, I don't know. Yeah, maybe it could be anybody as long as you have the proper certification. I know.
You just need to go through the course and get the certification.
Yeah. Adam Rubin had said that when we had that appraiser lunch and learn, and I spoke with him about it, he had said that a lot of like Keller Williams agents are doing it right now. That seems to be like a big thing with the Keller Williams teams.
I
guess maybe they're providing
while everyone's a little quieter.
Yeah. So
makes sense to just do that as a side hustle, make a couple $100 and put this report together.
I'm sure you'll start seeing it go across a lot of other real estate agencies here soon. So see what happens.
And one of the nice parts is, a little less stress as far as like an appraiser going out and like doing a full report, pulling the comps, things like that. You can almost assume in most cases that the value that you put in is going to be supported by, what these either desktop appraisals or these property data reports are showing you. But it's also half as much money, maybe an appraisal $600, somewhere around there. These cost $175, $250, $275. So it saves the buyer a little bit of cash too.
Yeah. In my opinion on why they're doing, I don't know why they're doing this 100%. So that's why I'm saying it's my opinion. But I think the reason they're doing this is they gave out so many appraisal waivers, not even looking at the houses, not realizing maybe they're not in great condition. So this is kind of just a way to say, hey, we think it's this value, but we want to just double check.
Let's go ahead and double check that.
Yeah, let's just double and triple check this. So take these photos, answer all these questions, and let us know. And then they see the report and they go, okay, it all checks out. Yeah.
And then also the timeline's a lot quicker. Like I just got one, I ordered it on a Monday and we had it back by like Wednesday. So typically with these PDCs or PDRs, they are trying to get an appraiser or get a property data collector out there within 48 hours and having it turned around within 24 hours. So,
Dang.
if a timeline is an issue as well, getting one of those assigned to you in your underwriting findings could
to
be
put
really
this into
key.
perspective. I mean, an appraiser typically will take quick end a week, long end like 3 weeks.
Yeah, depending on how busy they are and how quickly they turn them around. You can always rush appraisals too, but
More money.
it's more money, and sometimes you get appraisers that are kind of sitting around waiting to, the ones who aren't busy. Yeah. So maybe you get a less qualified appraiser or someone who's not quite as busy. So, and then of course, the full appraisal, where you would have the appraiser go out and pull comps and take photos and all that. So, there's all these different tiers of appraisals and appraisal waiver options. And the one that we're seeing more of now is just this PDC or this PDR. So hopefully it kind of streamlines the process a little bit, saves people a little bit of closing cost money on the back end, and hopefully we just see more of them.
Cool. Wins for the week.
Yeah.
You want me to start, or you want? Okay, that's
Go
me.
for it.
Okay, all right. I guess my win for the week would have to be I'm been working with a couple that's been trying to get pre-qualified for quite some time now, and husband just got a bunch of stuff on his credit cleared off. Thankfully, his credit shot up, so we're going to be doing it with just him, putting the wife on the title. I was able to get them pre-qualified, and they have a house in their sights that is very realistic for them. And she's like, "This is everything I want. This is all that I need, and I love it." So I'm like, "All right, let's get that offer in." So
yeah, sometimes those ones are the more satisfying ones. They might not be the the biggest loan price point, or they might not be just the one that you make the most money on, but working through the process, working through the steps,
the ones I like,
putting them in a position to buy a house that they are going to love, and those are the ones that feel good. Those are those karma points, or those soul points.
Yeah,
to make you feel good.
What's your juice for the week?
My win. I decided I don't even know where I saw it, but just came across a company that for every whatever transaction they do or whatever, they plant a tree, and I'm like, oh, that's really cool. I wonder how accessible that is. So I was able to find a company that does they plant a tree, and you can choose how many trees. You can do 1, you can do 10, you can do whatever. So I was like, you know what? 2023, starting from the beginning of the year, for every loan that we close or that I close personally, I'm going to plant a tree at the end of the year.
Huh. Very nice of you.
Yeah, cool company.
Are you Mr. Beast?
I guess so. Maybe one day.
I guess you wouldn't get that joke because Mr. Beast did that. He planted a bunch of trees.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, Elon Musk was he donated a ton of money to it.
Elon, where you at?
Elon, hit up Rory.
I think I can handle it.
Yeah, I think you got
it. Honestly, it's not that expensive, and it's a cool program. You can kind of choose generally where these trees get planted, and so one of the programs that you can choose is urban development.
Yeah.
Or urban planning, and I think they do 49 cities, one of them being Philadelphia. So,
there you go.
Not that I could specifically say, hey, I want these trees planted in Philly, but
it's very nice.
So no, I think it's just something cool. I'm a big outdoors guy.
Yeah, yes, you are.
Hiking, rock climbing, surfing,
Amen.
Kind of doing all that stuff. So, it's a simple thing to do, and it's just, I don't know,
it's cool.
Kind of cool.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Win-win.
There you go. All right. Well,
that's it. Happy Friday. Did you like this beer?
I did. I told you I would buy a 4-pack of it.
All right. Well,
that's a big thing for me to say. What?
Philly Beer Week coming up. Big announcement. Philly Beer Week coming up next week.
Oh, Jesus.
I think it starts on June 2nd. So I am putting Mike to task.
Yes,
he lives in Philly. He lives in Fairmount. He needs to do the beer part. He needs to find a brewery that he likes, go there, try a couple beers, pick a 4-pack, pick a beer, get a growler, get a crowler, whatever you want to do.
Okay.
Do your research.
Okay.
Next week, you're doing the beer section.
All right.
I want to see how much you've learned over the past.
Next week, we have to.
To lead us into Philly Beer Week.
To lead us into Philly Beer Week.
Yeah, so if we release it on Friday, I think that technically Philly Beer Week starts next Thursday, Friday.
Okay. Hold on. You want me to go next week to a brewery, figure out a beer I like in Philly, and then come back with the info and the beer and everything for the podcast to kick off it? Or do you want me to go during Philly Beer Week?
No, go before so that we can kick off the podcast.
Kick off Philly Beer
Week with a podcast.
Gotcha. All right, I could do that. That's doable.
Yeah, go this weekend. Or
I have a new bicycle now, so I could bike around the city.
Cool. There you go.
Do that. So,
all right, it's on you.
All right, great. We'll figure
He's
it
just
out.
gonna come back with some like.
I'm gonna come back with a cider and be like, I found this beer.
If it's a Philly cider, go for it.
All right.
They Two Robbers. They do seltzers. They're Philly. They're delicious.
Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say besides I'm gonna have to go find a beer. So I could do that.
I can't wait for this. This is gonna be.
It's gonna be you. This is gonna be.
Tune in
great.
next week. All right. Happy Friday.
I'm probably not gonna go anywhere all week and then just go to Rye Brew and like grab something off the shelf.
fine.
No.
You gotta learn. You just gotta learn about it. You gotta tell us about it.
I'll take it seriously. All right. Cheers. See you guys.
Cheers.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
I'm from with too many lives, 25 years or fewer. Nothing we receive is brand new, it's just newer. While brothers drop down to their knees and make newer. Popsicle sticks race down the curb into the sewer. The next American hangman sketched the